All right, factoring review number 2I. Okay, another trinomial. So take a quick look there. 6x squared minus 13x minus 5. Oh, what's common to those three? Well, it's certainly not the variable x because you're not seeing it in the last term. And 5 is a prime. So is 13 for that matter. So there's nothing common there. So I just got to jump into this and factor this the way I've been factoring the trinomials. I take that first term, multiply it by the last term, and I'm going to get negative 30x squared. So I'm looking for two expressions whose product is negative 30x squared and whose sum is negative 13. If their product is negative 30, that means one of them's got to be negative, one of them's got to be positive. If the sum is negative, that means that the larger of the two values has the negative sign. And it doesn't take much for me to guess that that has got to be negative 15x and positive 2x. Now you got to be careful with this because this is kind of a nasty one, because the temptation here would be to take a look at that negative 30 and the 13 and think, oh, okay, actually my numbers here should be 3 and 10. But for them to be 3 and 10 and to get a sum of negative 13, they would both have to be negative, and then their product would end up being positive. So 3 and 10 don't work. So you got to be really careful with the negative signs there, okay? This question is really designed to, in a sense, trick you, to kind of bait you into grabbing the wrong numbers here. So here's my binomial. Remember that the two numbers that I've just discovered, they are not necessarily part of these binomials. These are the outer and the inner products here. Whoops. So this would be negative 15x, inside here 2x. So the first two terms in those two binomials, their product needs to be 6x squared. But the first term in this first binomial needs to multiply together with the last term in the second binomial to get negative 15x. So the first term in that first binomial needs to be a factor of 6x squared and negative 15x. And remember, don't worry about that negative. We'll put the negative over here. Don't put that first. So just compare the 6 and the 15, and the answer is, it's got to be 3. So if this is 3x, this term over here, when you multiply those together, that has got to be 2x. So that 3x times 2x, there's my 6x squared. The 3x multiplied by the last term here, their product has to be negative 15x. Well, there's the x, that's got that dealt with. There's the 3. So to get the negative 15, this has to be negative 5. The product of the first term in the second binomial and the last term in the first binomial, their product has to be 2x. Well, there's 2x, which means this one over here, it just has to be 1. And then that's the factored form of that expression.